नमस्कार साथीहरू, स्वागत छ सबैजनालाई मेरो च्यानलमा। आजको डिस्कसनमा हामी चाहिँ टु स्कुल अफ थट अबाउट डिभिडेन्ड पोलिसी, थ्योरेटिकल मोडल्स, रेसिडुअल थ्योरी अफ डिभिडेन्ड एन्ड द क्विजको बारेमा छलफल गर्नेछौँ साथीहरू चाहिँ। र बेसिकली डिभिडेन्ड पोलिसी भनिसकेपछि अन्डर ग्रेजुएट लेभलमा होस् या ग्रेजुएट लेभलमा होस् या इभेन प्रोफेसनल एक्जामिनेसन लाइक सिएफए, सिए, एसएससिए या अदर ICWA भन्न सक्छौँ, कम्पिटेटिभ एक्जामिनेसन्स, नट ओन्ली नेपाली कन्टेक्स्ट, अदर कन्टेक्स्टमा पनि हामी यसलाई स्टडी गर्न सक्छौँ। नाउ बेस्ड अन दिस ब्याकग्राउन्ड, लेट मी क्लियरिफाई अबाउट वाट अबाउट द डिभिडेन्ड फ्रेन्ड्स। अब डिभिडेन्ड डिसिजन भन्दाखेरि हामीले के बुझ्नु पर्यो भने, जस्तो कि सिम्पली इट क्यान बी स्टेटेड एज अ पोर्सन अफ फर्म्स नेट अर्निङ्स द्याट आर पेड out to the shareholders. Because of being this real owners of the company, yeah, you buy the stock, one of the reason for getting dividend, अर्को चाहिँ price appreciation भन्छौँ हामी. You could see this picture also. र अर्को once the company distribute the dividend, र remaining portion लाई हामी के भन्छौँ भने that is called return earning, which is very important for the growth of the company. So you can see here, that's a corporate profit after tax छ भने हामीसँग दुईटा अप्सन हुन्छ. One is return earnings and next one is dividend. तपाईले के बुझ्नु पर्यो भने, if the company retain more, then dividend would be lower. Okay, so we can say that the dividend decision as a part of financing decisions. Now the question about कि what about the practice को कुरा गर्दाखेरि, it refers to the practice that corporate management follows in taking the dividend payout decisions. Dividend payout भन्दाखेरि कहाँबाट तिर्छौँ भन्दाखेरि corporate earnings बाट. Okay, so this is as for this citation you can see is Liz ATL. Now what about the case since the dividend policy determines whether to distribute the earnings to the shareholders or self-finance to the retained earnings. So it's very important issues that receive more attention these days from the financial analyst, academics and the practitioner भन्न सक्छौँ हामी. So the study of dividend policy has captured the attentions of the financial scholars since the middle of the last century भन्न सक्छौँ. Now what about the factors impacting the dividend yields? Dividend yield भन्दाखेरि हामीले सिम्पली के बुझौँ भने, जस्तो कि DPS, dividend per share divided by market price हामी गर्यो भने you will get the dividend yield. So first of all के विचार गर्नु पर्यो, one is that is the industry features, त्यस्तै share price, and what about the earnings growth, and then next one is that a dividend policy. So dividend yield भनिसकेपछि dividend per share by market price of share भन्छौँ या market value per shares. So these are the four factors. Apart from that, so many other factors so which could influence the dividend yield भन्ने बुझ्नु पर्यो साथीहरु चाहिँ. So this is the small background. Now what about the case of two school of thought regarding dividend policy साथीहरु चाहिँ? So when we talk about relevance of dividend, so तपाईले चाहिँ सम्झिनु पर्यो भने one of the important concept that is the bird in hand theory. So this is it was provided by Linter in 1956. Similarly, information content of dividend भन्दाखेरि was 1973. So this is all about the literature. And while cash flow signaling भन्दाखेरि like your Bhattacharya, John Williams, Miller and Rock like that. Okay. Similarly, agency cost theory पनि छ. That's wonderful in corporate finance theory. किनभने हामी भन्छौँ कि theoretically board members will take care of stockholders wealth, but in reality there might be the conflict of interest भन्छौँ, okay, between the shareholders and the managers and the creditors भन्छौँ. That's Jensen and the McLean भन्छौँ. That's the 1976. So tax preference theory, that's all about which provided by the authors by Lindzen, Burgers and the Ramaswamy in 1979. त्यस्तै डिभिडेन्ड पोलिसी अन्डर एसिमेट्रिक इन्फर्मेसन, द्याट्स मिलर एन्ड रक 1985. द्याट मिन्स अब हामीले के बुझ्नु पर्यो भने साथीहरू चाहिँ अब इभन इर्लिभेन्सको कुरा गर्दाखेरि द इर्लिभेन्स हाइपोथेसिस, हाउ क्यान वी फर्गेट अबाउट द मिलर एन्ड मोडिगल अनि contributions 1961, and what about the standard finance model of the firm's dividend, like that. So generally standard finance model say that कि हाम्रो रिटर्न भनेको सिमेट्रिकल हुन्छ. द्याट मिन्स R equals to actual return equals to expected return, but in reality returns भनेको चाहिँ साथीहरू चाहिँ सिमेट्री हुँदैन फेरि. So it's the asymmetric returns. So in reality we say that actual return is not equals to expected return, जसलाई हामीले abnormal return भन्छौँ साथीहरू चाहिँ. So you need to understand this summary part. Okay, now what about the case अब theoretical models of dividend policy को कुरा गर्दाखेरि, so it's a dividend valuation model, जस्तो कि stock valuation तपाईलाई याद होला, जस्तो कि the price of a stock today is, this is the D1, this is the current dividend 1 plus G, R minus G. R is the rate of return on equity, G is the growth rate. Okay, so expected dividend भनिसकेपछि this is simply current dividend 1 plus G, D0 is the current dividend, or sometimes we say that last year dividend. R is the return on equity, G is the future annual dividend growth rate. Okay, so what about the growth Gordon growth model? So is the P0 is the D1 by R minus G, जसलाई हामीले अहिले भर्खर डिस्कस गरे, यसलाई गोल्डन ग्रोथ मोडल पनि भन्छौँ. So what about the Linter model, which talks about the relevance of dividend policy? So dividend is all about, just okay, you can see is the alpha plus beta earning after tax plus beta 2. This is the lag dividend and this is the either term. So that means current dividend is the function of earning after tax, current earning after tax, and the lag dividend, last year dividend. So what about the case of the Darling model 1957? So this is the that is the price of stock, this is the lag price, this is the DEP is all about your depreciation, this is the change in, you can see I have stated here, that is the equity dividend, like that. Okay, now what about the case, this is the change in sales, like that. So what about the Britain cash flow model भन्दाखेरि 1966? So this is dividend भन्ने बित्तिकै is alpha beta 1 cash flow plus beta 2 lag dividend, this is the error term. What about the again the Britain segregated cash flow model भन्दाखेरि with capex भन्छौँ, capital expenditure. So is the earning after tax, lag dividend, depreciation and capital expenditure. अब हामीले के बुझ्नु पर्यो भने जस्तो कि when we talk about the operating cash flow, so operating cash flow भन्दाखेरि before clarifying the other concept, तपाईले के बुझ्नु पर्यो भने operating cash flow is net income plus depreciation and allowances, increase in working capital. Okay, so capital expenditure भन्दाखेरि simply we say that change in property, plant and equipment plus depreciation plus amortization expenses. Okay, so free cash flow भन्नु नै कस्तो छ भने, because you need to understand the each component from the accounting aspect to operating cash flow minus all capital expenditure. Yeah, हामीले EBIT, earning before interest and tax, into 1 minus tax rate plus depreciation plus amortization minus change in working capital minus capital expenditure गर्न सक्छौँ. Okay, so this is the little bit mathematics. Okay, now what about the case of Chawla and the Srinivasan model भन्छौँ 1987. So this is the price functions. So price of stock is a function of dividend, return earning, and this is the lag price earning ratio, and that's price earning भनेको that's the market price per share divided by earning per shares. So what about the dividend supply function भन्दाखेरि, this is the dividend is a function of, this is the price lag dividend, and this is the price earning ratio lag. So is the earning per share equals to dividend plus return earning भन्छौँ. So what about the case of friends and pocket model 1964? So this is all about the price of a stock भन्ने बित्तिकै एउटा डिभिडेन्ड, अर्को रिटर्न अर्निङ, त्यस्तै डिभिडेन्ड रिटर्न अर्निङ, त्यस्तै ल्याग प्राइस अर्निङ रेसियो, त्यस्तै डिभिडेन्ड रिटर्न अर्निङ ल्याग प्राइस अर्निङ रेसियो. ओके, So what about the case of petit dividend clientele effect भन्छौँ. So dy dividend yield भन्ने बित्तिकै dividend per share divided by market price per share भन्छौँ. So this is all about systematic risk भन्छौँ. एउटा age, next one is the income, and the next one is that जस्तो कि I have mentioned here, this is the dividend yield. Systematic risks, which is the measure of market risk भन्छौँ. बिटाले मेजर गर्छ यसले. ओके. एज भन्ने बित्तिकै एज अफ द इन्भेस्टर या इन्डिभिजुअल. INC भनेको ग्रस फ्यामिली इन्कम average over the last 3 years. This is as per his research, their research. Okay, so it's all about what about the next one is, that is the case of a DTR. This is the difference between income and the capital gain. Okay, taxes rates for the ith individual, and y is the error term, we say that. Okay, so what about the case of now let's talk about what about the case of residual theory of dividend. साथीहरु चाहिँ अब residual dividend theory को main crux के बुझ्नु पर्यो भने earnings will be distributed to the shareholders in the form of cash dividend only when the firm has retained earning left over it after it assumes that internally generated funds या retained earnings are भनौं न cheaper than that of funds obtained from the external sources due to flotation cost भन्छौं. Okay, that means when the company raise the capital externally, company ले के गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ भने bear the flotation charges या commissions. Okay, no what about the case when the company retain profit, then in that case companies को retain earning भनेको there will be no is the explicit cost भन्छौं, but however there will be opposite cost भन्छौं. So dividend policy is influenced by, one is that is the company investment opportunities, and the next one is भन्छौं हामी that is the investment जुन कि अब internally generated capital, that's the return earning. So dividend is paid भन्ने external equity भन्ने के बुझ्नु पर्यो तपाईले, investment भन्ने बुझ्नु पर्यो पहिला. So external equity भन्ने बित्तिकै total equity financing minus internal equity. So what about the total equity financing? तपाईको total investment बाट हामीले 1 minus debt ratio भन्ने बित्तिकै total debt by total asset भन्छौं या total investment into equity percentage भन्न सक्छौं. र what about the return earnings? So net income बाट हामीले 1 minus payout ratio गरिदियो भने, that means net income minus dividend payment घटाइदियो भने you will get the return earnings साथीहरु चाहिँ. Okay, now let's talk about some of the quiz. जस्तो कि when a company maintains its preferred debt equity mix and pays the dividend to its shareholders only after meeting its profitable investment needs, a company is following a dividend policy which is referred to as कुन होला त? Is it a stable dividend policy, residual dividend policy, constant, and none of above? So as I explained earlier कि तपाईको चाहिँ company maintain its debt equity mix and pay the dividend to the shareholders only after meeting its profitable investment needs छ भने, that is the basic crux of residual dividend policy भन्छ. So this is the right option. Okay, so you can see this basic concept of residual dividend policy. Now what about the case? The residual theory of dividends suggests that dividends are fill in the blanks. Is it residual, relevant, irrelevant, yeah, integral to the value of the firm? So right matching, you can say that fill in the blanks is the irrelevant part. As per residual dividend model, we say that of dividend, the company preferred to retain more and finance its investment internally. So it's focused that dividends not relevant, by the way. So what about the case of information content of dividend? So information content of dividend refers to the non-payment of dividend by the corporations. Yeah, dividend changes as indicators of the firm's futures, stable and the continuous dividend. Now last one भनेको चाहिँ that is the dividend paid as a percentage of the current earnings. So this is the right, and you must justify your answer in the descriptive. Okay, so dividend changes as an indicator of the firm's value means that is the basic idea of information content of dividend. When the company distribute a dividend, so it will affect the that's the investor perceive that the company's overall profitability situation is nice, yeah, good, we say that. Okay, so that is the basic information content of dividend, relevance of dividend policy. So what about the case of Modigliani and the Miller argued that when the firm has no acceptable investment opportunity, it should what? Close its door, distribute the unneeded funds to the owners, yeah, lower its cost of capital, retain the funds until an acceptable project arises. So the right option is that when the company has no adequate investment opportunities, in that case, companies believe that okay, let's distribute the dividend to the shareholders. Okay, so this is the case because once the company has this surplus funds, the company would have a two option, friends. One is distributing dividend. Next one is that sometime excess funds have one is a company like got some buyback or a stock, which we don't have provision in Nepal. Okay. Now, what about the case of Gordon's board in hand argument suggests that dividends are events. Firms should have a 100% payout policy. Shareholders are generally risk averse and attach less to current dividend. त्यो भन्ने नै कस्तो छ भन्ने साथीहरु चाहिँ just that you can see this picture also. This is the board in hand. When you have a board in hand भन्दाखेरि that's a you certain. So dividend seems to be certain from the investor perspective. At the same time, when you are perceiving that, yeah, you are expecting the getting dividend, which is certain. At the same time, the price of the stock, which might decrease or increase, this is the uncertain part. So that is the basic reason we see that shareholders are generally risk averse and attach less risk to current dividend trends. Okay. And what about the last question? The clientele effect refers to what? Relevance of dividend policy and the share price, firm's ability to attract stockholders whose dividend preference are similar to the firm's dividend policy, information content of dividend, yeah, board in hand argument. So right option is that this is the B number. Firm's ability to attract stockholder whose dividend preference are similar to the firm's dividend policy, friends. Okay, friends, these are the things basically I would like to discuss today. And I have discussed also about the simply the two school of thoughts about the dividend policy. त्यस्तै गरी हामीले discuss गरे theoretical models of dividend policy, residual theory of dividend policy, and I believe that आजको discussion would be important for undergrad level, graduate level like MBA, MBS, and including the professional examination. Thank you all of you for watching this video. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, and also share this channel. That is the Finance Guru, Pawan Kumar Jha. Thank you all of you for watching this video. Please take care all of you. Thank you.